Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me for 10 minutes of mindfulness of breath. That means for 10 minutes, I am going to guide you to pay attention to your breath. I will warn you, your mind will wander. This is normal. This is completely normal and expected. This is why we practice. We take time to practice gently, without any drama, bringing the mind back to the breath. That practice will yield amazing results. It will support your overall well-being in the most amazing and profound ways if you let it. So please find a comfortable seated position, or if you prefer, you can stand. What matters is that you are in a comfortable position for the next 10 minutes so that you can focus on the breath. I encourage you to either close your eyes or gently look down and soften the gaze. Closing the eyes and gently bringing the awareness to the breath. Noticing the breath as it enters the nares, and just noticing as if for the first time paying attention to the breath, noticing the intake of the breath. Paying attention to the pathway the breath takes from entering the body, following the path of the breath, following it all the way through the exhale. That complete cycle, just paying attention to the pathway of the breath. If the mind wanders, and it will, this is normal, gently bringing it back to the breath, sensing the breath. Sensing the sound of the breath or the lack of sound. Just listening to the sound of the breath. Noticing any sensation or lack of sensation with each breath. Gently bringing the mind back to the breath. Making peace with the mind, befriending the mind, knowing that the mind produces thoughts the same way the mouth produces saliva. It's just what it does. And during this time spent with the breath, gently bringing the mind back to the breath anytime it wanders. Noticing the transition between the end of the inhale and the beginning of the exhale. Looking out for that transition. Staying connected to the breath, using the breath as an anchor, anchoring the mind to the breath. Noticing with the breath, following the pathway of the breath, and noticing which parts of the body move, which parts of the body lack movement. Noticing perhaps the breath expands the chest. Perhaps the breath reaches the belly. Perhaps it doesn't. There's no right or wrong, just noticing. If the mind wanders, gently bringing it back to the breath. Following the pathway of the breath, the full inhalation, the full exhalation, keeping the mind rooted to the breath. Where is the mind now? If it's wandered, gently bringing it back to the breath. Treating the mind with kindness each time it wanders. Understanding this is normal. Gently bringing it back to the breath. Paying attention to the breath as it passes through the nares, through the throat. Just noticing how far the breath reaches. Perhaps it reaches the chest. Perhaps it might reach the belly. Maybe even lower, just noticing. For the next 60 seconds in silence, staying present with the breath. If the mind wanders at any time, gently bringing it back to the breath. Where is the mind now? Bringing it back to the breath. Bringing the awareness to the hands, sensing the hands, extending the fingertips, bringing life to the hands. Bringing the awareness back to the room. If the eyes were closed, gently opening them, gazing forward, bringing the awareness back to the room. Thank you so much for joining me for 10 minutes of mindfulness of breath. I hope you are inspired to practice more often. I'm wishing you nothing but the best. Have an incredible day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you.